Okay, now that I think I have this scene all back together from last week's escapades into capturing two people on stream, let's go ahead and get started again with the regular Beacon Space faction turns. So, welcome on in to Faction Turn 40. I'm, of course, your host, as always, Zeomar, because I missed that in fixing this up. So let's just fix my name, so that I am in fact Xavier on this stream, and not Zeomar from the Agricultural Wars. There we go. As you can see, we're set here on our world of Tellus as we get ready to start our world here in Beacon Space for Faction Turn 40. So I think my only announcement about the faction show here is yes, I did put Harvester Chan on stream. So he gets to live throughout this one, thanks to Hablaman for this wonderful artwork. It has shown up as an emote on the regular Unrestricted Warfare Discord server as well, so you're free to use it there if you'd like. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. I think the only reminder is we do have the ongoing effect of an increased faction credit cost for all movement announcements that just needs to be reminded since it sticks around through the end of Faction Turn 42. And we're prepared today because I have all of the factions in appropriate order before we even get started. So let's go ahead and start off with the Concord and Mutual Disdain, who are taking the Scout a System goal and will collect their income of 8 faction credits, taking their balance up to 66 faction credits. They're going to be taking the buy asset action, but first we have a refueling station to establish for them on Kuzimu, which is in the 1715 system right here. So they don't really need to make this roll because they have what they would need with their bonus. It's like properly 13 or something, but they can beat this DC without a roll. But there we go, we've rolled for completeness. A 16 easily allows them to create this refueling station. Oh, congratulations to them. I'm gonna end up having to expand my my number of columns here very shortly. Looks like this is refueling station 6, as I need some names for these things. But in the meantime, let's go purchase them the other asset they are going to buy, which is an Armageddon mech on Viken. Now, Armageddon mechs are TL5, but the world of Viken over here in the far corner is in fact TL5 itself, coming in the glorious sector. So they are able to make this purchase without any troubles there. Go ahead and clear their previous purchases. Purchase sickness and an Armageddon mech with purchase sickness. Doesn't have 1 HP though, it in fact has 20 on the world. Oh, that's right, this has non-regular characters in it. That's going to be fun. But all things considered, there is their new asset. Now that costs them 24 faction credits, so we'll go ahead and charge them for that. They takes their current balance down from 66 to 42 faction credits. And they complete their goal of scouting a system, gaining them 1 XP, taking them up to 9. Up next in the faction turn, we have the Ogumala Syndicate, who are taking the Expand Influence goal, and they are going to collect their income as well before moving a strike fleet around. So the Ogumala Syndicate gain 5 faction credits, taking their balance up to 19, before they're going to move the strike fleet, the Silver Wings of Aniti, which is this one, from Nuevo Asphodel a world we've seen quite recently, over to the world of Unarios. This will cost them 2 faction credits. They're then going to expand influence on this world, and they're the only ones there, so they'll be able to do this without any opposition, granting them the base of influence perfectly fine. And of course, it's on the same world, so that's a 1 HP base of influence, costing them 1 faction credit. A total cost of 3 for this turn takes their balance down to 16, and that also completes their goal, granting them 1 experience, taking them up to 10. Up next, we have the Tahora Fayi this turn, who are going to be taking the Scout A Systems goal. And we'll give them their income here of 16 faction credits. That takes 15 faction credits. They must be over their cap. Yep, they are over the number of force assets, so it's only 15 faction credits, taking their balance up to 23. And let's go ahead and go paste in their turn. They're going to take the use asset ability turn and then go move some things around. So the first thing we're going to move is a surveyor's asset located on the world of Qualitep Una. It's going to take advantage of the Tellus special movement rules to move itself all the way there. Now the Surveyor's asset can move on a use asset ability for free, so this does not cost any faction credits. Where is this asset, though? There it is. Moving back to Tellus. Up next, the covert shipping asset, the Rays of Light, is going to activate to move the surveyors that have just moved to Tellus out to the world of Dyne. This is fine because an asset is allowed to move itself and be moved by another asset on the same turn if plausible, so that costs 2 faction credits there. The next thing that is going to happen is the Armageddon mech on Dacia is going to grant itself the armored status. And then we're going to activate the anchored station to move itself and a co-located post-tech infantry, the Maja Kanvantara. It's this one. However we pronounce this, I have no idea, and I'm not going to go spend the next couple of minutes to figure it out. These are going to both move from the world of Rosebud to Dyne, costing a total of 3 faction credits. Then we're going to activate the Tellus Ruin ability to go ahead and heal the Strike Fleet, the Unquiet and Unafraid, by an HP, taking it up to full at 8 out of 8. That costs 0 faction credits. Then we're going to revise charts to attempt to reveal asteroid belts in the Keicho system. This is a DC 8 roll, if I'm recalling correctly. Yes, it is, with a +7, so D10 plus 7. A 12 succeeds at this, revealing 1d3 asteroid belts for a singular asteroid belt to be discovered in the Keicho system. Belt 5 in Keicho. Fantastic. And then the last thing we're going to do is activate their post-tech industry, rolling a d6, resulting in a 4, so that is 1 faction credit gained. So, that is perfectly fine there. Let's grant them this faction credit to take their balance up to 24. Then we will be charging them for their costs this turn. They activated a covert shipping, which cost 2 faction credits, and the Anchorage Station move cost 3, taking them down to a total balance of 19 faction credits. And of course, they completed their scout system goal, so let's give them their 18th experience with +1. And then we'll move on to the Larkspur Combine, who will collect their income of 6 faction credits, taking their balance up to 11, before taking the Inside Enemy Territory goal, as well as the Expand Influence action. Oh, first off, they're going to activate an Armedigan mech on the world of Sihi to move it to Icaros. This cost them 2 faction credits to do so. Up next, after this one, which I suppose we should show that this is a valid movement. Actually, this movement might not be, right? Armageddon Mech can normally move 2 hexes. How his Grail World's mechanics tag from the Ruin work? Somewhere down here is Grail World. Maybe. Control F will find it. There it is. 2 faction credits per turn. The Ruin effect gives Starship Assets quadruple if they are controlled by the Planetary Governor. Otherwise, it's just always a target. So this is trying to move the Armageddon mech all the way to Icaros. If they had the quadruple, this would be legal, but they don't. This is the Larkspur. Yeah, they don't have anything that enables them to gain extra movement either, so I just don't think this movement is legal, actually. So I believe this will just fall through. Oh, am I looking at the wrong planet? Is that my problem? Oh, I am. Yeah, I'm blind and have thought it's the one on Grail World, not the one on Sihi. Never mind. Did I write that down wrong? No, I just can't read. Oh, I'm reading the one further down that says Grail, not the one on Sihi. This is why I've confused myself. And so let's move the correct one for them. Good catch. Thank you. Thank you for that. I was very confused. Anyway, now that my confusion is out of the way, let's move on to their next action this turn. They're going to move to build a 1 HP base of influence on the world of Idarast, unopposed by anybody there, and a 1 HP base of influence on the world of Icaros, unopposed by anybody there. I missed a faction to ask. I should have asked the Amalhar Institute if they opposed as well, but I missed that. So I guess they just don't get to the opportunity. If they would have liked to have opposed, they can let me know, and we'll figure it out from there. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and let this through, as I'm the one who's missed that. Larkspur Combine, please. Base of influence can go ahead and be stealthed. Yes. this is fine. These are 1 HP each. Fantastic. And then finally, we're moving a strike fleet from Idarast to Grail World, which is this one right here. Moving over to Grail World, that cost 2 faction credits. So, that wraps up all of the movements. The only last thing we have to do is attempt to construct a moon base on the world of Klano, which I need to go check the DC for. Oh, a moon base is a DC 10. There is no modifier on this roll, as they don't have a constellation, so 1 in 10 chance. And an 8 will not do it. They will fail to establish that moon base on Klano. That's alright though, that does complete their goal, granting them 2 experience, taking them up to 36, and then a total cost for the turn of 6 faction credits, taking their balance back down to 5. And then we'll move on to the next faction, which is the Starlit Court. They will also be taking the Expand Influence action after collecting their 8 faction credits, which takes their balance up to 84. They are going to move or use their smugglers to do the Expand Influence action on the world of BZ up in the far top portion of the sector in 1501 here. 1501 for them. Can clear purchase sickness. Nobody else is on this world, so they're able to do so without any opposition. This is Planet BZ. Or 1 HP. Up next, they're going to take a free action to move this smugglers over to the world of Planet CJ. Cost 2 faction credits with the increased movement. And then finally, they're going to re-establish the Avalon's Gate constellation to expand itself to include the hexes of 1400, 1600, and 1800 at the top there. That should revise that for them. That completes their Expand Influence goal, taking their XP up to 4 and costs them 3 faction credits over the course of this turn, taking their balance down to 81. Up next is Ascent. We're taking the Exploration goal and action. First time we've seen this in quite a while, despite its constant appearance in the earlier portion of the game. We're going to get started after granting them that 7 income with healing their Book of Secrets on Tellus by 1 faction credit, activating the advantage, activating the ruin effect for them. Where's the one on Tellus? There it is. So that goes up to 5 out of 10 faction credits. 5 out of 10 HP faction credits. Entirely the wrong thing there. Then we're going to use some of their quest actions. They're going to attempt to do the indoctrination roll on Eliton. So let's check in on this quest just so we are sure we are doing it right. So on the world of Eliton, it's a D10, plus they're going to choose to take the +3 from adding a +6 by taking damage to the distorted lens of a D6 there, and they're going to add a +1 by spending an additional 3 faction credits on this roll. And I have some instructions on a potential reroll that I should keep in mind here. So a d10 plus 3 plus 1 results in a 12 for this first roll. The indoctrination success level is an 11 plus, which is a successful operation that goes off without any problems. So, no additional damages, just the one that needs to be rolled against the distorted lens, which takes only 1 damage on the world of Eleton, taking itself down to 3 out of 6 HP. Indoctrination is complete there, so we'll go add plus 1 to this counter. I believe it's up at 8 because they added some new planets. So that is that. Up next, we have a second indoctrination on the world of Mortiforum Mori, where there is just a base of influence, which will take the d6 damage to include the plus 3 modifier here, including another plus 1. So the exact same roll there, a d10 plus 3 plus 1. An 8 is a success. It just is 1 at a cost. So yep, that is just fine. Neither of those matter though, because the base of influence will be destroyed by the d6 rolls, so really it's just a success. There was some bad planning on that part. Either way, the world of Mortiforum Mori destroys this base of influence, but it is successfully indoctrinated, adding plus 1 to this tracker, and an HP of faction damage from destroying on that base of influence, taking it down to 13. Both of those are successful. So next up we have a movement of some assets. We're going to use the Smuggler's asset to move itself and the Seditionists from the world of Planet DJ up here to the point of interest in 0203, costing a total of 3 faction credits, 1 for the regular movement, 1 for the increased movement cost, and 1 for entering an unexplored hex. First time we've seen that one in a while. We're then going to explore this point of interest in 0203 with just a difficulty of 12 on the roll. So this will be adding a cunning stat from Ascent, so a d10 plus 7 to this roll, trying to beat DC 12. An 8 will fail on the first roll, and we are exploring with the Smugglers, so we'll do this a second time by activating the Psychic Academy reroll from the Larkspur Combine. They will succeed there with a 17, revealing some number of planets. A 5, I believe, reveals 2 planets. It's been a while since we've had to make that roll. We should go double check. But I am pretty sure that is 2. Yep, that is 2 planets here. So, the first planet in 0203 is an interesting one. We'll do this like normal. Give me just a moment. Do I have... According to my notes, this planet shouldn't exist. Cool, it doesn't. So, 0203. Getting to add some new planets. We need a row here. Oh, first up is Planet DL. So let's go ahead and resolve these out. Planet DL has the mechanics tag of Add 1 faction credit per turn. That's one of the good ones to find. It is uncolonized, so how it's generating that faction credit is beyond me, but it is TL4 with a thick atmosphere and a temperate temperature, along with no native biosphere. It has the tags of Gold Rush and Terraforming Failure, with a ruin roll of 12. That will not reveal a ruin here. Maybe it's that Gold Rush of a Terraforming Failure that is allowing them to create all this money. So next up should be Planet DM with the Mechanics tag allowing for the reroll of generation dice, so long as they are on this planet. It has a population of hundreds of millions of people living at a wonderful TL4+, along with an invasive atmosphere and a temperate temperature with a hybrid biosphere, along with the tags of Badlands World and Bubble Cities. The ruins roll of 5 on this second planet will unfortunately not reveal a ruin either. There are both of the rolls for people to take a look at on stream. Alright. So let's go ahead and move this asset around, because you now need to be located on planet DL or the map. It's going to complain, but that's not a problem. And then that will wrap up all of Ascent's normal parts of their action. Let's go ahead and grant them their XP, taking them up to 3. And charge them for all of their costs during this turn. So they spent 3 faction credits on the first indoctrination, 3 on the second, and 3 for the movement, for a total cost this turn of 9, taking their balance down to 1 faction credit. And then let's check their quest completion, because that tracker in there is not ideal. So it needed either a base of influence or the planetary government. We just destroyed a base of influence around that world, but they had planetary government. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then somewhere else, I think they had a base of influence that got destroyed. Right. Over the time. So 6 was correct. I had already added the +2. So that completes their quest, and we'll go over their awards at the end of the end of the turn, as is been the normal for that approach. With that, though, we'll move on to the next faction in our faction turn list, the Children of the Vein, coming in 7th this faction turn. They are not taking a goal, but they will collect their income and then purchase an asset. So 7 faction credits are theirs, taking their balance up to 18 faction credits. Then they are going to move some assets around. They're going to activate the extended theater asset on Moss to move a hostile takeovers asset on Moss to Tellus. So we have hostile takeover right here on Moss, moves to Tellus. That'll cost them 2 faction credits. They're then going to take that buy action, trading in a marketer's asset currently located on the world of Heliositis to become a hostile takeover. This cost goes up and doubles to 20, costing them a total of 10 faction credits for this turn on that purchase. They're then going to take advantage of the Tellus Ruin effect to go ahead and heal a pre-tech infantry currently located at 10 out of 16 HP up to 11. They're then going to attempt to establish a moon base on Moss on the world of Klano, one we made a roll for earlier in this stream, though they have a small bonus of +3 on this roll, and they reroll ones. Well, let's see if they can beat the DC. They, in fact, can with a 12, establishing that moon base on the world of, or on the moon of Klano. This is moon base 3, I think. Fantastic. That wraps all of those up. That means the last thing we have to do is activate the extended theater that is on Tellus to move the extended theater that is on Moss over to Icaros. So this extended theater moves to Icaros. That'll cost 2 faction credits. Overall this turn, they've spent a total of 14 faction credits, taking their balance down from 18 to 4. That wraps up their turn, and we move on to the Umbral Triumvirate, which finalizes their final wealth and cunning increases, taking themselves up to a 1-3-3. They, of course, as a council, do not set goals and do not collect XP, but they do collect their income of 1 faction credit, taking their balance up to 5. They're going to then purchase a Harvester's asset in the same way that they did last time for 2 faction credits. It's somewhat silly, but we'll go ahead and swing that purchase sickness around. Of course, granted the stealth for appearing on this world, since Nuevo Asphodel does in fact apply stealth on assets when they land, and then charge them their 2 faction credits for that purchase, taking their balance down to 3. Up next, we have the Amelhart Institute, who are going to be abandoning their current Blood of the Enemy goal, losing all income from stat-based sources this turn, which is the only source of income they have. So their income, or their balance, excuse me, will stay at 4 for this faction turn. They are taking the Use Asset ability turn so that we can activate a variety of their assets. That. So, for the Amelhart Institute, we are going to activate their commodities broker, currently located on Sihi, to give ourselves a D8 discount of the maximum +8. Then we are going to activate the party machine by rolling a D6, and a 5 will gain 1 faction credit. Up next is the venture capital asset, where we're going to roll a D8 and roll a 1. I believe that is quite unfortunate for that venture capital, but let's just go double check. I do believe it in fact manages to make the worst investments plausible and is destroyed by rolling a 1. That's unfortunate. It's now Armored is new and doesn't exist in the base game. The phrasing says destroyed, but armor would reduce half the damage, so if destroyed is taking 10 damage, it would only take 5. Huh. I'm gonna think about this for a second. I hadn't thought about how I want armor to work with something that says destroy, because I think this is like one of the only places in the rulebook where it uses that phrasing. Somebody in chat perhaps recalls that there's another asset that says the same is destroyed phrasing, but I think it's only for the effect of the venture capital. But let's go ahead and, in the meantime, move the scavenger fleet from Ingrid over to New Cinnabar in the 0814 system, and then move a demagogue that way as well. by activating the covert shipping asset on Ingrid, I assume. No, sorry, it's the one on Longza to move the demagogue from there over to New Cinnabar as well. And at the end of the turn, that would get rid of that. Let me go grant them the 1 faction credit from the party machine before I forget to do that, taking their balance up to 5. And now let's consider this venture capital. So the phrasing here is destroyed. Treachery also uses this is destroyed phrasing, as does post-tech industry if it can't pay its -1. Well, I think that means at this moment armor just has no effect on the destroyed keyword, which makes sense. I suppose the real question there would have been rather I would have wanted to say it takes a d10 worth of damage, but we'll stick with how things are currently phrased and no reason to change them live, and get rid of this venture capital for rolling a 1. It's quite unfortunate in that way. So that wraps up the Emilhart Institute's turn. They don't have a goal to check. They just have some costs, which is the covert shipping activation, charging them 2 faction credits, taking their balance down to 3. That wraps up the Emilhart Institute's turn, so let's move on over to the Assembled Commonwealth, who are 10th this turn, as they take the Scout a System goal and the Use Asset ability turn. Let's give them their income, taking them up to 40 faction credits. And then we'll go through. The first thing they're going to do on their turn is activate their post-tech logistics asset, currently located on Idarast, to build a new strike fleet for the full cost of 18, given the given the 1.5 modifier. They currently do not have a discount to spend. So that will cost them the full 18 credits. Then we're going to roll 4 commodities brokers for them, rolling 4d8 for a total discount of 13. That's awfully low for 4d8, but an 8-1-2-2 will do that. So let's go through these commodities brokers in order to grant the discount. Discount 8, a discount of 1, 2, and of 2. A total discount of 13 for them there. Up next, they're going to use the anchorage station currently located on planet AM to move itself, the transit web that is co-located here, and the grav tank formation. All of these are heading back over to Quoritas for a total movement cost of 4 faction credits from them. They are 1 faction credit from their regular anchorage station movement, 1 credit for moving 2 assets, 1 credit to extend the range so that they can actually make this movement, and an additional credit for the movement cost, costing an additional 1. So quite expensive of a move for them, but that's all right. The other thing they're going to do is take the Revise Charts action to try to reveal some asteroid belts in Astenar. This is a DC 8 challenge, as we've already done one, and they are rolling at a D10 plus 6. A 13 will do it. That's some asteroid belts revealed here. That is 2 asteroid belts in Astenar. They do complete their goal for doing as much, so the Assembled Commonwealth goes up to 2 XP. Cost this turn, they made that purchase and had a single movement, so 22 faction credits of cost, taking their balance down to 18 faction credits. Let's go add those 2 asteroid belts in the Astenar system. Not Blet, asteroid belt. Those are 2 different things. So we have 6 and 7 for them. Fantastic. And our final player-controlled faction, anyway, is the Tellus Council, who are going to take their 1 income, taking their balance up to 31. Then they're going to take the buy asset action to refit a post-tech industry asset on Tellus into a pre-tech infantry asset. This expansion is perhaps not a surprise, as one of those is just simply better than the other. It doesn't matter which one, so we'll upgrade this one for a total of 17 credits, taking their balance from 31 down to 14 faction credits. Up next, we have the Megafauna faction, who do in fact have a non-white whale asset currently under their control. They have a legendary elusive fauna currently located on planet AT. Given it is just this one that floats around here, we get to find out what it does. So let's go check in on the fauna rules. A regular fauna, which was not attacked, rolls a d20. Or a d10. I believe I've changed this so that I'm always rolling a d20. That was a 20 on this one rather than the 2d0. A very comical roll there. I'm surprised it even let me make that roll. But a 20 there is even, which means that the fauna gains the armored status if abled, and the evasive fauna can, so it gains armored. Now we see if a new megafauna asset does in fact get created. Oh, we do! We have a stealthy megafauna. I believe stealthy variants are in fact a space fauna. They are, so our hex creation is in 1400. Interesting. Mechanical megafauna gaining their second, this one being a notable stealthy fauna. Probably going to make me input a space hex for it, unless there is something in 1400. There are 2 planets there. Is either planet occupied? In fact, the Starlit Court moved an asset there into that hex. Which planet did they move onto? They moved on to planet CJ, so congratulations. This asset will move to planet CJ as well. And now the notable variant of a fauna functions as if it is tier 4, so it'll roll with a +4 on all of its stats. So, that creates a second megafauna, wrapping up their turn. I should make notes for this. So, legendary fauna, gain armored, new notable stealthy fauna created. Fantastic. So we just have some end of turn checks to get through, as that's the last faction to process. Let me catch up on chat and make sure it hasn't been done anything. So, I don't see anything in chat other than the discussion about the destroyed asset, which I think is the correct way to interpret that. I think destroyed just overrules armored. So that will wrap those things up. Let's figure out which faction gains the new weird. Delete that. That shouldn't be in there. Looks like the Agumala Syndicate gain the new distorted lens asset. Congratulations to them. Go put it right here. I don't think they're at the cap of those assets. In fact, they don't have any currently. So this purchase is this is completely valid for them. I thought you had one at some point, so I'm glad to know that I wasn't entirely wrong to think you could plausibly be at that. And of course, this spawns in on the world of Langen. It's right by some other distorted lenses, though, so that's quite fun. This one has purchase sickness. And that, I believe, just wraps up that portion. Congratulations to the Agumala Syndicate. Nobody moved into a space hex this turn, so no black holes to check for. We just have a sense quest to go over the rewards for. That's right. The quest awards the faction tags Purveyors of Entropy to Ascent. So let's go ahead and give them that tag. There we are. We can clear that note. Oh, I have some seize clocks that should progress. Let's go do all of those real quick. And then we'll go over the Purveyors of Entropy tag. So, Purveyors of Entropy. At the start of this faction's turn, choose an asset which either gains a disorder or organized, which are asset statuses. These statuses, right here, disorder says all dice rolled by this asset are rolled at disadvantage. This status is lost at the end of the owning faction's turn. Organized gives the asset advantage, and the status is lost at the end of the owning faction's turn. So that will be a round for these to be granted at the start of Ascent's next turn. And that is all dice, so including faction credit generation, or damage dice, or counter dice. It is just all dice on that asset are affected by the random intrigues of entropy. So that is there. Yeah, we have some other things to do as well with moving this quest over. I'm going to take care of all of those off stream because they'll require some spreadsheet changes and they'll just get wrapped up in the announcement about it. But Ascent may be known by a different name at the start of next faction turn. All right. What else? I think I have one other set of announcements with two subtopics. So, first announcement is I have a clarification on some stuff for the jailers as part of the as part of the Concord of Mutual's disdains thing here, it was noted that the jailers don't have any listed faction tags for themselves. So the jailers are going to receive 2 faction tags that are inaccessible to regular factions. They will be added to the sheet and to the list here, but they'll get an indicator that they won't be available for factions to choose, at least at this exact moment. So the jailer faction will have the faction tags Ancient, Technical Expertise, and Reactive Armor. So those tags, we'll add them into this list. This will require me to, of course, like always, redo this coloring, which I will handle after the stream. So Ancient Technical Expertise. This faction treats all planets on which they have a base of influence as if they were at least tech level 5. This is to signify the indications towards what we might expect for the jailers just being able to create assets out of nowhere, and add some nice fictional positioning as this ancient power probably has the capability to just show up and build these things wherever they would like. The other thing they are going to gain is the faction tag Reactive Armor, which should go somewhere around here. I'm probably going to put it in not quite the right spot for alphabeticalizing this list, but I can fix that afterwards. It is Reactive Armor. This faction's assets gain the ability Reactivate. As an action, gain the Armored status. So this specifically requires an action. It is not a free action, but it allows them to gain Armored, similar to the way Respectful Hunter works, but it functions on all assets of this factions. Of course, the jailers will only ever have Starship assets, so you could say, why didn't I just give them Respected Hunters? But Reactive Armor with this ability here is perhaps more reflective of the jailers overall. So those are the updates for the jailers on faction tags, and then secondly, there's some small notes to be made about speculation as to what happens if the capital fleet that is spawned as a part of this quest and is in fact the quest target is stolen by way of a treachery or a hostile takeover. Well, I can put that to rest. If the capital fleet is destroyed or taken over by a treachery or hostile takeover perhaps a little bit more clear because it does still require the asset to go down to 0 HP, but the treachery case for either one, the capital fleet will count as destroyed for purposes of this quest, and Concord of Mutual Disdain will receive their rewards, and any faction that has received or dealt damage at that point in time to jailer assets will get their payout as per the 2 faction credits per average of their stat line. If you steal the capital fleet, you will get to steal it. There will be a few exceptions made to this asset as part of the quest. The first one is if it is taken over by a hostile takeover, even if you wouldn't normally be able to repair this asset, you can, for one time, repair this asset to full HP to appropriately get rid of the disabled status per the requirements of a hostile takeover. You aren't just stuck with a stasis asset that you can't use. Second, the capital fleet will have a four-stage clock. At the end of this clock, something will happen. That's as much as I'm going to tell you at this point in time, but if you steal the asset, there will be a 4-stage clock, and then something will occur. Just wanted to clarify that, and I'll write this change up to put it in the Discord as well. That way people are like, if it does get stolen, does it still need to be destroyed if some other asset or faction is holding onto this asset? No, they won't need to do that. That will just will count. So, with that said, I think the only other update I have is the lore stream, if you caught it right before this, included a teaser about a station election event and a proposal being made by one representative, Boulder Grick. There is, in fact, a proposal being made for the Telos Council to consider in a slightly different way than we've done before. And I am still working out the exact details of how I want this to go. But in fact, they're going to make a proposal, and the council will have the opportunity to attempt to negotiate with me with what this proposal is. So the council representatives, being controlled by myself and perhaps other members of the mod team for inspiration, have a set of demands they are going to make and are trying to get passed. And the factions representing the Telos Council will be able to barter back and forth to help negotiate the changes. We might develop some dice rolls as a respect of this. I might have previously stated it was not stealable. If that is the case, it has changed because the stealability rules indicate that this asset needs to be stealable. So I would rather just put a little bit of special flair onto the Capital Fleet to respond to a comment I'm seeing in chat. So I couldn't find an official thing on it one way or the other in the text, so that's the thing I'm going to do for that. With that said, I think that wraps up the Faction Turn 40. Thank you everyone for joining, and of course thank you for joining last week at the First Agricultural Wars if you are around for that event. In the meantime, I will just see you then. I think the map should work because refreshing this should be fine. That would be that. No, the jailers did not spawn. This was just a clarification update. The Concord and Mutual Disdain still have one more black hole they need to put an observation thing around before the jailer spawned, and they have not taken that action yet. So, but there was some discussion about jailer stuff, so it felt appropriate to provide the update now so everyone was aware of it. Alright, with that said, thank you for joining us for Faction Turn 40. Faction Turn 41 will be next month. You can expect a schedule to be announced within the next week. Probably, in fact, over the weekend, but I'll give myself a little bit longer in case I need it. With that said, I will see you next time, and we will get to see what happens at the following lore stream and the next Faction Turn. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here at Unrestricted Lorefare's Beacon Space Faction Turn 40. I will leave you with some chill tunes as we head on off here. Have a fantastic rest of your day.